Well, guys, we are here. We are here. And what a nice representation of the stock market itself this past short week with the fireworks that have come to the market, all right? Some very selective, all right? We had to be very selective on the stocks that we chose. However, those stocks that we did chose inside of the Discord group and some of the Mag 7, all right, they really showed their colors, and we had some literal fireworks in the market, all right? I am Coach UV. Thank you for clicking on this video today or tonight, whenever you decided to. I'm represented by a company called the Unique Trading Group, where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. All right. Now, I know what you came here for. I don't want to hold you. All right. This is the big, beautiful bill breakdown. All right. And how this affects your taxes. All right. I want to go into some brief things, some detailed things. It won't be too mind-boggling, right? But some at-your-face, simple information about how this can affect you and your family as far as this new tax bill. Okay. So don't worry, stick around. I got a very juicy video for you. All right. If you want to check out that video that I posted to get you prepared, all right, check out that link right above to the right. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get into some recap. You guys know I like recaps. Here's receipts, all right, from the video I posted, the mid-year rally, talking about what I expected. Here we go. You guys ready? Getting you prepared for next week. And so let's hop into the subject in the meat of what I'm saying. We have higher highs on a weekly time frame. All right. Very simple in nature. Okay. If you've been rocking with me for a while, you've been a part of the Discord, you understand one of my edges is understanding higher time frame continuity. Whenever the higher time frame, when that's showing me bullish momentum and we've closing and broken certain candles, right? For example, this candle here, all right, it broke this range right here, all right? This candle broke this range on this 1 hour time frame. And ever since we got that open range breakout, all right, we went from 608 to 613, 616, okay? And so I look for that on a higher time frame to give me my momentum and my bias. As long as I have higher highs and higher lows on a higher time frame, then I'm going to be prone to buy the dip, okay? If this is your first time watching, you don't understand higher lows, all right? This is a quick example of what that means, all right? You see that pattern here. You have a series of higher highs and higher lows, and so you can continue to the upside. It's a step ladder, okay? Without getting all technical, it's just a step ladder. And we have higher lows being formed right now on the SPY intraday time frame and on the hour, okay? And so I am bullish for this market rally, and I'm going to explain to you why. The way that you should be thinking about this market is very intuitive and very technical and mechanical. All right. There are a lot of headwinds coming in next week. All right. A lot of data coming in, heavy data, but not to worry. All right. You're rocking with Coach UV, and get ready to take your notes and get your mindset together, because the next couple of statements that I'm getting ready to make to you is going to make or break your week for next week. All right. And so if you've been sticking. Now, I'm going to stop that video right there, right? Because that was the basis and the premise of that video 5 days ago, is to understand market structure. And we got that. As you can see here on my screen, this old video posted 5 days ago. All right. We were at 614.91 and we are currently at 620 on the SPY. All right. Using the same structure. Nothing changed. The dip was bought. Nothing changed. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get over to some curriculum. All right. We're going to talk about this big, beautiful bill. Okay. Now this is going to be a part one of this information, only because there's going to be a part two, and there's a lot of information to dissect, and I didn't want to cram it all into this video. Okay. So starting first, all right, I want to talk about lower tax rates. All right. These are going to be simple in nature as I give them to you, sticky note style. All right. You can screenshot it or go back and do your own research, a little deep dive. But I want to just give you what I know now. All right. Okay. So lower tax rates. All right. It's going to be a permanent change with a $2 trillion cost. So it's going to cost the American people about $2 trillion for the lower tax rates. All right. Permanent change. All right. That's how much the bill is going to cost as far as spending for this plan for the lower tax rates. All right. Higher standard deductions. All right. So it's going to save about $1 trillion over the next decade. All right, this was implemented into that big beautiful bill. All right, higher standard deductions. Okay, also we have increased SALT caps. All right, SALT stands for state and local taxes. All right, state and local tax. All right, so there's a cap and it remains at 40,000. So they increased it and that ends to 2029. It used to be 10,000. Now it's 40,000. All right, moving on along, we have the car loan deduction. All right. All right, this deduction is up to 10,000 until the end of 2028. All right, so this is the new car loan deduction with the BBB, the big beautiful bill. Inside of that plan it says that we are able to deduct up to 10,000 until the end of 2028. All right, interest deduction income. All right, there are limitations, but they vary depending on filing status. All right, so interest deduction income. All right, there are limitations, but it varies depending on your filing status. All right, look into this one. This is a really, really good one. Okay, and also last but not least, out of this part one, big beautiful bill recap breakdown, increased child tax. All right, so the increased children tax has gone up to $2,200. All right, so this is saving the American people about $800 billion over the next decade, actually. So that's a lot. All right, increased children tax up to $2,200 now. All right, saving $800 billion over the next decade. Okay, that's with the increased child tax credit. All right, in other words, rewind the video. All right, if you didn't catch anything, if you want to go over it a second time, rewind it. All right, Google it and or chat GPT it. I am just a presenter. All right, Coach UV with the Unique Trading Group. All right, now the big beautiful bill. All right, documentation. All right, Trump administration financial markets reform. All right, this is what I'm coining this as. All right, introduction to this. Okay. So there's a big part of this video is talking about the legislation that's behind this. All right, this was passed over this 4th of July week. Okay, and the key components of this bill. All right, transparency and financial reporting. All right, the bill mandates comprehensive disclosure requirements for financial institutions, creating unprecedented visibility into institutional money movements, quarterly financial statements, detailed reports on investment strategies, disclosure of significant changes in asset management, and so forth and so on. All right. Number 2, enhanced regulatory oversight with reduced burden. All right. The bill that was passed implements a balanced approach to regulation, streamlined audits by independent bodies focused on systematic risk, targeted penalties for non-compliance while reducing overall regulatory burden, a dedicated task force to monitor market activities with emphasis on domestic investment growth. All right, these are the changes that's being made. All right, we're pulling back the lid, all right, on some of the things inside the bill. All right, America First investor protection measures. All right, so the bill introduces several measures to protect American investors. All right, clear guidelines prioritizing domestic investment opportunities. All right, mandatory investor education programs highlighting American market strengths. Right, and simplify mechanisms for dispute resolution to increase market confidence. These are a very big deal, and they sound fancy. You know, when you guys look up some of these things, in this part one, and look it up. You know, maybe a little different than how I'm presenting it to you, but these things have some importance as far as what Trump is doing in these bills. Some of these things can last for years while he's in office. All right, can somebody come and reverse these things? Yes, but some things cannot be reversed for a certain amount of time based on law and the fact that he's in office again for a second term. All right, and so some of these things were set to expire 2025, and since Trump did get reelected, all right, he's going to be implementing some of the things that he wanted to start before. Okay, so you guys want to be tracking the institutional rotation due to this big, beautiful bill. Okay, so following legislation, all right, significant institutional money has begun to rotate towards specific sectors, favoring the administrative policies. All right, understanding these flows is essential for capitalizing on emerging investment opportunities, and I have them for you. If you're watching, if this is your first time watching, okay, you're rocking with Coach UV with the Unique Trading Group. All right, where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. Right now, we are reading, all right, from this weekend video over the weekend. We're talking about some important things. So we have a strategy, mixing this with our mindset, understanding seasonality. All right, this is the Unique Trading Group, Coach UV, where we teach you how to fish We teach you how to fish. Remember, the information I'm giving you can help you find stocks that are going to be benefiting from Trump's bill. All right. And so that's what we're looking for. And I'm going to be dropping a video with my watch list. All right. So you guys stay tuned for that. All right. So where's the money going? Infrastructure and manufacturing, energy sector shifts, financial deregulation beneficiaries, all right, methods for tracking institutional rotation, all right, analyze trading volume in 11 sectors. We have 11 of them, all right, sector performance analysis, all right, compare sector performance to identify where smart money is going, all right. If you're a part of the Discord and you're part of my community, you know that during the day while we're live trading, I'm checking these things to see where the money flow is in real time. All right. If you want to get more access to that and that information, click that link below in the description and join the thriving community where we teach you how to fish. All right. We focus on market structure and price action. All right. This is live commentary and stock talk you're witnessing right now with the Unique Trading Group. All right. So monitor your fund flows. All right. Track the inflow and outflow of the money. Basically saying the same thing, okay? And I'm going to go in a deep dive on how you guys can actually use these tools. But today was just a part one to introduce you to what's really going on and how you should be thinking about going into next week based on this big, beautiful bill and the year on beyond in 2025, all right? So the big, beautiful bill represents a significant shift in financial market regulation under the Trump administration, all right? Creating distinct winners and losers across market sectors. By understanding and tracking institutional rotation patterns resulting from these policy changes, investors can position themselves to benefit from the new financial landscape. All right. This document serves as a guide to the bill's provisions and offers strategies for following the smart money as it responds to these transformative policies. All right. That's what you guys should be thinking about. Next week. All right. Look for the bulls to try to reclaim all-time highs that we already hit. All right. Look for higher lows. The Fibonacci is saying that we want to go towards 627 and 625. We've already predicted that. And if we're back in a bull market and the Feds are going to be cutting rates, the tariffs are not really affecting price. The Feds are done speaking and we have a rate cut possibly in July. Expect fireworks continuously. All right. So that's what I have here for you guys on today on this video. Hope it made sense to you. I appreciate you guys watching. All right. And if you enjoyed the video so far, hit that like button and maybe possibly thinking about subscribing. All right. If you're busy, new, or a little skeptical about trading stocks, you're exactly who I help. All right. If you're ready to stop guessing and find a good footing, all right, and foundation, and take this trading thing seriously as a business, then we're for you. Click that link below and join a thriving community. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification so that you're informed when I drop valuable videos. And remember, here at the Unique Trading Group, we focus on market structure and price action. And remember, trading is about the process and not the profits. The process and not the profits. And once you get that together, all right, the money is only a byproduct of a well-oiled machine. All right. Thanks you guys for watching. And of course, to the next time, peace.